Hey there, everyone. This video is for those of you who are ready for the last step to finish your genocide research essay draft. Okay, so right now we are on step 8 of the process, which means you have already copied and pasted everything from your outline into your draft, you've reformatted it, and you've added introductions to all of your evidence sentences. Okay, so each body paragraph begins with your topic sentence, which is your RA, then gives your cite evidence, which is your C. And so as we follow races, you are now ready for the E and the S, which stands for explanation and summary sentence. So that is our last step. For each paragraph, you're going to go from just having a topic sentence and evidence to now adding explanation and summary. Okay, so there's not a formula. There's not anything you can really copy and paste here. These next two sentences need to be your own words. They need to be you explaining in your words what this evidence means and how it proves what caused or what resulted from your genocide. So this is probably the harder part of the essay because this is your actual wording. So if you need help outside of this video, please just reach out and ask. But you can also continue watching to see how I would model writing these sentences. So for this essay, my first cause is that the rise of communism in Southeast Asia. And my quote was, although Pol Pot and Khmer Rouge didn't come to power until the mid-1970s, the root of their takeover could be traced to the 1960s when a communist insurgency first became active in Cambodia. Okay, and if I'm not sure what insurgency means, I can look it up. An active revolt or uprising. Okay, so a communist, again, I'm not sure what communism means. A person who supports communism, which means, remember that's a form of government where the government controls everything, and typically that has resulted in dictators and oppressive governments. So a rise or a revolt of this communist government became active in Cambodia a decade before Pol Pot came to power. So you can always start out with phrases like, this evidence shows, or by saying this, the author means. So I'm going to say this evidence shows that, and first I want to explain a little bit about what this quote is saying. That communism began to take over in Cambodia, and this is, Pol Pot happens in the 1970s, this is the 1960s, so that's 10 years before. 10 years before Pol Pot even came to power. Okay, so now I need to explain how that caused the Cambodian genocide. So you can say, if communism had not already been in Cambodia, Pol Pot might have never came to power and therefore might have never started the Cambodian genocide. Okay, so now I've explained how, because communism started 10 years prior, that allowed for Pol Pot to come to power, and that caused the genocide to happen. If there was no communism, if there was no Pol Pot, the Cambodian genocide would not have happened. Okay, so your explanation can be 1 to 2 sentences. And now I want to conclude. So I can use words like therefore, the rise of communism in Cambodia was a major cause of the Cambodian genocide. Okay, so this paragraph right here is a great full RACES, races body paragraph. So now I'm going to go on to the next one. Okay, my next cause was a desire to create an agrarian or a farming utopia, a farming paradise. For instance, the purported goal was to transform Southeast Asian country into a classless agrarian utopia, which if you did your research and you learned about this, that is kind of a signature part of communism. They want everyone to be the same economic class. They wanted everyone to be farmers. So I can say, by saying this, we learned that, that's another way you can introduce your explanation. We learned that Pol Pot's and the Khmer Rouge's goal was to make everyone a farmer. Okay, that's what we learned from our research, was to make everyone a farmer. In order to, I like how they offer the word achieve. In order to achieve that, they had to kill off most of the educated class of Cambodians, right? And some of you guys remember learning that from your research, or when we talked about going over the different causes, right? That they killed off millions of the people who had education and degrees, even people just with glasses. So by saying this, we learned that Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge's goal was to make everyone a farmer. In order to achieve that, they had to kill off most of the educated class of Cambodians. And we can say which resulted in the genocide. Okay, I already used therefore, so I can say to conclude, a necessary piece of the Cambodian genocide was Pol Pot's desire to create a farming paradise. And that's just a way I can reword an agrarian utopia, right? I'm just using synonyms. Instead of agrarian, I'm saying farming. Instead of utopia, I'm saying paradise. Okay, I'll do one more paragraph and then I think you guys have an idea and can start working on your own. Because now I'm switching to the results. Right now I'm looking at consequence was the Vietnamese invasion. My evidence is according to USHMM, the Vietnamese army invaded Cambodia in 1979 and removed Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge from power. So I can say this evidence, how did I say it the first time? I said this evidence shows, I can say according to, I just said according to here. So instead I could just say maybe since the country of Vietnam would not have invaded Cambodia unless the genocide was occurring, their invasion was a direct result of Pol Pot's mass genocide. Right, so you're just very clearly explaining how, because they wouldn't have happened unless there was a genocide, it is a direct result, it is a direct consequence of the genocide happening. Right, and now in my conclusion, I can say moreover, and still kind of explain my point just a little bit more clearly. I could say moreover, Vietnam invading Cambodia and the events that followed that invasion were a consequence of genocide from 1975 to 1979. Okay, so I gave my explanation sentence, I gave my summary wrap-up sentence, and now I'm ready for my last paragraph. Now, like I said, this is one of the harder steps of the essay. You are having to write sentences in your own words. You need to show that you understand what the evidence means. So if you need more help, if you have the modified Cambodian assignment, remember there's that passage at the top that gives you some background about it. Reread that, and it might help you understand the evidence just a little bit better. Otherwise, please feel free to reach out to me. If you finish, however, you are ready to read it over, check for any mistakes, and turn in your essay. Good luck.